All right, welcome back to the Nosebleed Section. I'm your host, Joe. Remember last week we touched briefly on we are going to make a fleece bracket. Um, we're going to run by real quick of who we're going to go in the fleece bracket. And you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all social media outlets. We're going to put everything up. We're going to do some Twitter polls, anything possible. We want you guys to just give us some feedback, comments, maybe add a person or two that you think that we forgot about, and let us know. We're gonna go on next episode. We're gonna start this bracket, and hopefully I come out on top. Honestly, all right. So we're gonna start with the Abood. Abood, let us know your picks, and I guess a brief little thing about why you picked them.
All right, so in my division, I got my number one seed, Albert Hainsworth, when he signed with the Washington Redskins. Uh, Hainsworth was a star in Tennessee, signed a 7-year, 100 mil contract with them. Only ended up playing 2 seasons with them before being cut. So, kind of crazy. Could see why he could be a number one seed. Number two, I got Nnamdi Asomugha with the Philadelphia Eagles. Signed with them for 5 years, 60 mil. Played 32 games with them, was eventually benched, and let go by the team. My third seed, I got Matt Flynn, Seattle Seahawks. He signed with them the same offseason they signed Russell Wilson, eventually lost his starting job to Russell Wilson. My fourth seed, Ed Reed with the Houston Texans. He signed that 3-year, $15 million contract. He only played 7 games with them, lost his job, was eventually cut, and then signed a 1-year deal with the Jets.
It was solid for a spot I had.
Yeah.
Yo, I like Matt Flynn. He remind me of Matt Damon for some reason. All right, Kuz, what you got?
All right. So my number one seed should be a no surprise to anybody, but my number one seed is Sam Bradford. In my opinion, he is King Fleece of the NFL.
King Fleece.
But you could do the Vikings and the Cards contract, but I'm gonna pick the Cards contract. He signed with the Cardinals last year for 1 year. I think it was 18 million with 15 million fully guaranteed, and he played 3 games and got injured. My second seed, I'm gonna go with Brock Osweiler. Signed I think it was a 7-year. It was a 4-year, $72 million contract with 37 million guaranteed. Played a season, got traded to the Browns. They actually had to give the Browns a 2nd-round pick just to take him. And then, if I'm not mistaken, he got traded again to the Broncos. My third seed, I'm going to go with D'Angelo Hall. Signed a 7-year, $70 million contract with almost $25 million guaranteed with the Raiders. Played 8 games, was cut. He had earned $8 million at that point. And my number 4 seed is Mario Williams, the 6-year, $100 million contract with $55 million guaranteed. He played with the Bills. Just didn't work out. He was not good for the Bills at all.
I don't think he didn't feel like a scheme fit. Dre, what about you?
All right. So, my number one seed, I got Jay Cutler, who signed a 7-year, $126 million deal with the Bears, and they couldn't wait to get rid of him by the end of that contract. Then I have Dante Culpepper with for his contract with the Vikings. He signed a 10-year, $102 million deal, I believe.
Who's this?
Wait, no. Let me get the details right. All right, come back to me. I want to get my numbers right and stuff like that. But just going to say, come back. I'll cut that.
All right, so my number one seed, I got Jamarcus Russell. He was the first pick in the draft for the Raiders. He held out at training camp all the way into the first week of the season. And then he got a 6-year, $68 million deal 32 of it, which was guaranteed. And he had 18 touchdowns and he had 38 turnovers his rookie season. He finished out 7-18 as a starter, and he was released out of the league 3 years later. My number 2 seed is Javon Walker. He was coming off an ACL tear in 2005. Got traded from the Packers to the Broncos for a second-round pick. They signed him to a 5-year deal worth $40 million. 2 years later, he left the Broncos, went to the Raiders, signed a 6-year, $55 million deal with the Raiders, played 8 games in 2008, 3 games in 2009. Then he was released, so he got paid $21 million for 11 games. Then he signed with the Vikings in 2010. He was released about 8 or 9 days later, and that was the end of his career. He got suspended once or twice after that and never saw the field again. My 3rd seed is Donovan McNabb. When he went to the Redskins, he signed a 5-year, $78 million deal for 1 year. He had 14 touchdowns. He only played 1 year of that deal, though. He threw 14 touchdowns and 15 picks. He earned $15 million of that deal. Then he signed the deal with the Vikings for 1 year and $5 million, and he was released and never received any of that money. And then he was out of the league. And my 4th seed will be Sean Alexander. So he was coming off an MVP season. He signed an 8-year, $62 million deal, but then he got hit with the Madden curse. Multiple injuries just derailed his career. And he got $15 million guaranteed of it, but, I mean, he broke his left foot in week 3 of the 06 season. Then 07, week 1, he broke his wrist. Then he came back, and in week 9, he sprained both knees and his left ankle. I don't know how you do that. Both knees. Moving on. After all these injuries, he was eventually released in April 2008. He signed a $737, I think it's probably a league minimum at the time, type of deal with the Redskins. And then he got hurt again. And he eventually got released and retired at the age of 32. I think the Redskins signed Liddell Betts, and I think he got hurt too. It was like, I don't know, he spread the Madden curse to other people. That's probably one of the worst cases I've ever seen. But yeah, those are my 4. I mean, Dre, are you ready or?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna kick it back.
So yeah, like I said, number 1, Jay Cutler, 7 years, $126 million, horrible ass quarterback. In 2013, the Vikings signed Dante Culpepper to a 10-year, $106 million deal that made him the highest paid quarterback in the league at the time. And I think he only played a season with them, and he got injured. It was, the end of his story, basically. In 3rd seed, I got Mike Vick with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2011. He signed a 10-year, $130 million deal. 2011 was very, middle of the road. 2012, he got hurt. 2013 was Chip Kelly's first year, and he got hurt. And Nick Foles had, whatever magic he had going on, and Mike Vick got cut the year after. So he bounced around the league from there, went to the Steelers and the Jets. But either way, and my 4th seed, I have Byron Maxwell, signed to the Philadelphia Eagles in 2015. 6 years, $63 million. And he was ranked as one of the worst corners that year. He was targeted a lot. And at the year after, he was traded for along with Kiko Alonso to the Dolphins, just to move up from 13 to 8 in the draft. So it eventually helped get Carson Wentz. But yeah, those were some horrible deals. I even had some, a couple of honorable mentions. Like
My guys got honorable mentions.
I'm sorry.
Were they all Eagles deals also?
No. Y'all did Eagles deals too. The Eagles signed bad contracts. Namdi Asamoah, come on. Like, we've been starving for corners since Asante Samuel. But I was going to say Deion Sanders, last contract with the Redskins. I believe it was a 7-year, $63 million deal. And the he played 1 year of it, and he retired. So he kind of like did him a favor.
And then came back a couple years later with the Ravens. Like, what's crazy? Doing all the research for this, one reoccurring thing was that the Washington Redskins signed a lot of free agent busts, like repeatedly throughout their history. You would think eventually they'd get, but nah, man, it was crazy.
The Redskins are lucky that we're doing this by player and not by team.
They could have a whole 16-team bracket of their own just of bad free agent decisions.
All right, so since we're doing honorable mentions, my honorable mention is Kirk Cousins, the $84 million 3-year fully guaranteed contract.
My list.
Finesse.
I'm sorry. There's no possible way that he can be worth that much.
Shout out to the Vikings, though, because we offered him more, and ultimately we ended up with Sam Darnold, and I'm very happy with that because I didn't want Kirk Cousins at all.
I don't even know Sam Darnold as much as I know Kirk Cousins, and I know that it's way better.
Kirk Cousins had a terrible year on the Vikings. Guaranteed all that money, though. What are you gonna do?
Joe Flacco also was about to get on my list. After the Super Bowl,
that post Super Bowl contract for sure.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
When you got a franchise quarterback that throws for 40 yards passing in a game, that baffles me.
Hear me out. This is. I'm gonna get a little off topic here, but here's my argument with all these quarterbacks getting all this big money, and a lot of them have never even been to the playoffs.
Exactly.
If a quarterback such as Tom Brady isn't getting that money, there's no way, no chance in hell, as Vince McMahon would say, that you deserve that money. There's absolutely no way that you deserve that money. If Tom Brady's out here making less than you, and you ain't even sniffed the playoffs, no way you should get that money.
Yeah, but that's a conversation that we've always had just amongst each other. It comes down to if you have a player that's up for re-signing and you look at what's on the current market and you look at how much would it be to keep this player versus how much would it be to try and replace him, or how many years would it take to try? Like Matthew Stafford. I don't think Matthew Stafford is worth $1 of what he's getting paid right now. That's just me personally.
I agree.
But you got to think Detroit was in a position where they had so many other different pieces. At least they knew if we paid this guy, this is something we don't have to worry about for it. Because I guess he's serviceable. He's like a Jared Goff, I think, where he just plays in a really good system, or not even in a good system, but he's just one of those guys you could put there and you know that he could just get the ball thrown. But I definitely get what you're saying about guys not having the experience and getting paid.
I mean,
ridiculously.
But the thing about it is, we all know that Tom Brady is taking a big time pay cut of what he can actually
year after year.
After year. So that's really doing the league a favor that he's actually not demanding the money that he probably wants. Or the fact that maybe Bill Belichick wouldn't have that, it might not have lasted this long if Tom Brady would have demanded that money. Who knows?
No shot. Belichick ain't paying that kind of money for no player. He don't give a damn who you are.
Matt Castle, running back.
Yeah, that's okay. We got Matt Castle.
No. 11-5 that year too, Matt Castle.
Yeah, I was scared for a second that this offseason that Nick Foles was going to go to the Patriots.
Well, Tom Brady not letting that happen.
I mean,
Nah,
Brady still
yeah,
is.
vetoed that.
Unless they were gonna
he was
give
always- he
Foles
was
the
always-
bag to sit a year, I don't see that happening at
or
all.
like a few years.
Yeah, nobody was going to pay Foles
And,
to
and
sit.
and once again, that goes back to Patriots ain't paying nobody that kind of money. Not even their star player. They let their star 25-year-old left tackle go in free agency because he apparently wanted too much money, and along with their defensive end.
Yeah, like right now they're protected with the most,
Everybody want, man.
the highest compensatory picks because their left tackle, everybody just got paid. Everybody they just let go.
Yeah.
But you know,
I mean, you got to figure
times
you're
they
gonna.
didn't make this list though. The Patriots don't make the fleece list. Who fleeced the Patriots?
Patriots fleecing players. If we're being real here, they're fleecing
Because
all the players.
they preach that culture, and they preach that that championship culture, and players buy in, and like they think because they're in a Patriots jersey, like all of a sudden football is like this prestigious thing, and it's like no, it's the same thing. They call better plays sometimes.
I mean, it's like, do you take 50 mil and you go on a team that's 3-13, or do you take 10 mil and go to a team that goes to the AFC Championship?
Even that's being generous. You're probably looking around the 7 to 8 mil to go to the Patriots.
Facts.
I mean, you get 3-15. I get you 3 AFC Championships at least. I mean,
you know what they're really good at? They're really good at. They're really good at getting players on like a 1-year prove it deal who can come in and ball on that 1-year prove it deal, get far, get to AFC Championship, get to a Super Bowl, and then that next year be like, all right, bye bye. Like you go get your money. You definitely earned it. We're just not going to give it to you. We're gonna go find Danny Amendola and we're gonna bring him in.
If our bracket was on which teams have fleeced players the most, like they wouldn't even be a bracket. It would be the Patriots.
Oh yeah,
we don't pick the Patriots.
Easily.
We don't pick the Patriots. That prove it deal for the Patriots is 1 year, and we're going to prove to you we're going to win a championship. That's what a prove it deal is for the Patriots.
Actually,
player prove it deal.
Actually, if you think about it, the Patriots can have their own fleece bracket for players leaving their team and going to other teams and getting paid crazy amount.
Absolutely.
Like there's a long list of players. Like I don't know, man.
It's we can talk about so many different things with the Patriots for like it could be a whole podcast on it, but we got a lot of time. We got to keep moving forward. All right. I mean, there's been a lot of news. I know we've seen all this AB stuff going on. So we're gonna jump into that real quick. We're gonna touch on that. I don't even know where former head coach Jack Del Rio got all this from, but he came off just saying that AB is gonna be like a pain in the ass or whatever for the Raiders. I mean, you feel how you feel about AB at this point. Like you see how what happened situation with the Steelers, but
in my opinion, I don't think he's wrong at all. It's like, come on, man. You got what you wanted. They traded you. You got your bag from the Raiders. Like,
and you're still talking.
What is your intentions for trying to call out Juju? Like nobody specifically came at you with this. Somebody just said that he was the Steelers MVP of last season, which I don't think they're necessarily wrong because AB didn't play every game. AB didn't play every game, and when he was ready to, like when he was healthy and ready to play, he threw a fit. He threw a fit and walked out of practice. And no, I'm not playing.
Yep. And like in a big way, he could have been there to help them get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
He chose not to be there. So I mean, even Antonio talking about Juju fumbling the ball in that game, at least he was playing in the game.
To that point, I may be mistaken, but I don't think I am. Didn't Antonio Brown basically step out of bounds with the playoffs on the line versus the Dolphins on that schoolyard football kick return play or whatever, and he took it to the house, but he really stepped out of the 13-yard line. So you're really gonna knock Juju on that? You cost him the playoffs a time or two.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like you said, you're on a different team. You got your money. Why are you still talking?
Yeah,
Like,
worry about like better and getting healthy, connecting with your new team, your new quarterback, and that's what you should be worried about. You shouldn't be worried about Juju or whatever. And I honestly love the way that Juju's handled this, like throughout the whole thing. Like, he didn't fight back. He didn't, stoop down to AB's level. He's like, that's crazy. Like somebody that you show love to, and that you looked up to, and that you actually went to. He went to AB while he was still at USC, asking for tips on how he can better his game, how he can become a better player. And you're gonna put that on blast for him? Like, what is? You're only making yourself look like an ass.
that's the funniest part about it, that he really put that on his Instagram. Like, that's going to make anybody look at Juju any worse. Like, this is what young dudes do. This is not what a vet is supposed to do.
Yeah, he was a kid coming up. He wanted to, he wanted to ask one of the best players in the league at the time what he should do to just take his game to the next level. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I applaud Juju on that DM.
I just don't get what he thought was like going to be accomplished by showing that. Like, he thought that was going to make people like be like, "Oh, you're cool." Like, it's like you're supposed to, like, when you hit like a certain level in this league, and like you gotta admit, like, everybody I feel like considered AB to be, if not one, like top 2 in the league. So like, yeah, of course players are gonna seek that kind of mentorship from you, but that was just some crazy, like, and you could tell, like, I guess he's hurt because I guess he felt like he was the Steelers, like he felt like he was the organization, and the fact they're just willing to so like quickly move on from him and just replace him with Juju. And I don't even think that was Juju's intention. He kind of just fell into that situation because he was that receiver that showed up, made big plays, produced, like, yeah, fumbled in the playoffs, whatever. But that's crazy on AB's part, because I feel like you guys said, he has a brand new situation. He has a chance to kind of rebirth himself, and it's not a good foot to start off on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, shout out to Le'Veon Bell.
Because he stole it from me.
It's your player.
Nah, go ahead, because you're about to bring up the same point I was going to bring up.
Le'Veon Bell posted up the screenshot of a conversation that he had with James Conner. And James Conner just showing him love, just saying, thanks for being real throughout this whole thing. We seeing how some people acted and some people handling their contract situations, but you always been a real one. And, like, that just lets it be known, like, Le'Veon was having a big issue with Pittsburgh too, but it had nothing to do with his players,
Not at all.
And he's even more in a situation where he should be looking down on James Conner, because James Conner is literally replacing him. Juju is going to let him line up next to Antonio Brown, but the only reason why the Steelers didn't have to pay Le'Veon is because they had James Conner. So, regardless, through that, he still, showed support, gave him words of encouragement while he had a phenomenal rookie season. So, like, I respect that part.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit pretty much everything on the head with the situation, I think, personally, same thing, I agree. I think AB should be an asshole at this point. Like, what's the point in bringing up, just what's the point in attacking Juju? Like you said, you're on a different team, you're on a new team, it's a new start, you got your money, and the whole DM thing and taking a screenshot of that was just completely classless. Like, nobody's saying like nobody's saying you're the biggest role model in the world or anything, but like, you have a kid, like Kuz said, like you have a kid that's in college who sees you or looks up to you as one of the best, if not the best receiver in the league, and he's just coming to you for help and guidance and advice. So for you to be beefing with somebody and probably scroll back to who knows how far back in your personal messages to go through this guy, to go find a picture of that and then screenshot that and put it up in like a way of like, look at this cloud or something like that. Nobody saw it that way. Everybody was just like, I mean, if I'm a rookie receiver, I'm going to one of the people I think is the best in the league too. If I was a rookie receiver, I'd probably go to like Calvin Johnson and Jerry Rice and all that stuff too. Like I go to the greats and I do the same thing. You look for advice, people to get better. So I don't know what he was doing with that, but he's on his own. I mean,
to me, it makes you think like exactly how was he in the locker room with his teammates throughout his whole tenure there. You know, like and he said that Big Ben never reached out to him, never tried to make a connection, and it kind of like felt him a little bit. But when it comes down to it, you doing this with Juju, it makes me think like, is this how you treated all of the people that were under you? Like you fought for your spot, I get it, but is this how you treated every young player that was trying to come up? How did you treat Juju when he was actually in the room next to you? You know,
yeah.
like did you act like it was competition then? Like,
Don't get me wrong. I definitely think that that Ben Roethlisberger is an asshole. I
yeah,
definitely think that he has an ego, and he definitely has that kind of personality where he's quick to call his teammates out. He'll throw them under the bus real quick, just real. Like if you're a leader in the locker room, you don't do that like type of shit. Like, you don't, especially in a big loss, and especially if uh, you could use that moment to kind of stand behind your guy. It's the easy route to point fingers and say we lost specifically because of this player or whatever. But yeah, no, definitely it does kind of give you an idea of maybe, and that's why I kind of want to see if any other teammates come out and comment on how AB was in the locker room and his treatment with them, because maybe this is just something like him on the way out. He's just kind of being pretty sour about it. So that's definitely something I wanna keep an ear out for.
Yeah. I think I gotta think about who's in like the Raiders locker room. I mean, because that's gonna be interesting to me. Is he gonna talk about the Raiders people the same way he's talking about the Steelers? Like, is he gonna talk about Derek Carr? Or is he gonna talk about whoever might be there at quarterback next year? Marshawn Lynch still there, right? Like, is he still gonna?
You think he's
I
a
think
free
Is he
agent?
so.
going? I thought he was still there.
I,
Is he gonna go back and forth with Marshawn Lynch? Like,
I'm gonna have to look that up. I think he might. I don't know.
I'm not sure either. But like, we're gonna see this season if there's problems with the Raiders. If there's problems with the Steelers, I should say, post AB, or was AB possibly part of the reason that there was, you know, problems in the locker room for the Steelers? That's what I think is going to be the most interesting aspect of it. Like, I know there's been
He's
a
still
lot
on
of
the
things.
Raiders.
so
Still on the
maybe
Raiders?
he's
All right.
mulling retirement again.
I want to see, like, it's going to be interesting, like, if the Steelers are going to, if there's other problems are going to arise in the Steelers locker room. Was it just AB and Le'Veon, or if everything's good now in the Steelers locker room, does
I
that
don't.
mean Le'Veon is the problem? I'm not saying either way. I'm
I
just
don't
saying I want
think.
to see what possibly could
I
be
don't
next.
even think that. I mean, talk over you, but I don't think that Le'Veon was a problem in the locker room.
Oh,
Like the thing is with Le'Veon is that like he wanted his money and he played under the franchise tag the first time, and you know what the Steelers did? They damn near ran him to the ground. Almost 400 carries that year. That's not even counting his like receptions and targets on receptions. They almost ran him into the ground on the franchise contract. So if I'm leaving, I'm not playing for you again either. What, you're gonna try to run me to the ground again? So when I do sign a big contract, I break. That's not cool at all. And like I understand Le'Veon's perspective on that. I wouldn't have played either if a team did me like that. Had they, maybe played it like normal, maybe like 200 touches, yeah, I might play under the franchise tag again. But you guys almost ran him into the ground.
I
That's
mean,
that's not fair. That's not fair to him, especially when he's
oh,
trying to get a big contract. And like another thing is that like I see all these people like running their mouths about like, oh, Le'Veon took less money to play for the Jets. He sat out all that for less money. It wasn't less money. He signed with the Jets for more guaranteed money. So the people who are saying that need to go back to math class because guaranteed money is a big thing. That's what you're guaranteed. So like it speaks for itself. They missed that part. I think the Steelers' most guaranteed money that they offered him was like I don't even think it was 17 million guaranteed. Jets offered him 34 guaranteed, fully guaranteed.
twice as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like the big thing is, I don't agree with the franchise tag. It's something that's out there. It's part of the rules, but I don't feel like if a player doesn't sign a contract for you, like if his contract is up, his contract is up. He's a free agent. So once they started doing this, it's kind of you feel for Le'Veon because if he gets hurt, then all of that guaranteed money is out the door. Like he's going to be playing a prove it deal for somebody.
Yeah.
And like and keep it 100, he was the best running back in the league when last time he played.
Mm-hmm.
Like just all around, he changed the game. Like Todd Gurley this past year looked like Le'Veon of the year before. So like big ups to him, man. I'm glad that I think he handled his situation with class. I think he said, look, I'm not going to play. If y'all not going to pay, I'm not going to play. He didn't play. Just move on with life. Got a big contract with a new team. Hope he does well.
And to touch on that franchise contract deal, I'm cool with the whole franchise tag for one season, but I think it's way like overused that a team could slap it on 1, 2, and even 3 years in a row, regardless of how much money it goes up every time. I feel like that's not fair to the players. I'm willing to keep the franchise tag, but you can only use it one time, and after that, either pay him or you gotta let him go. That's just my opinion. But I get it. There's incentives for the player to play on a franchise tag too. It goes up every year, and if you happen to hit it a third year in a row, you're now getting top quarterback money. But but at what expense? Especially at a position such as running back. That's the most grueling position in the game.
Yeah, and one of the most underpaid.
Yep.
One of the most underpaid and underappreciated.
Yep.
But I mean, even if you were just talking about the franchise tag, like how many years did Kirk Cousins play on the franchise tag?
2.
I think
And then
and then
2. He played on the franchise tag, I believe, 2 times, and the Redskins weren't about to tag him the third time.
Yeah,
he wanted to.
He was
like,
about to be,
please. He's like, please tag me.
Yeah, he's different. He wanted to, but
because that's quarterback. Like I think the first time you tag him, it's the average of the top 5 of the position, and then the second time you tag him, it's the average of the top 5 of the position plus like I think 15% or maybe 20, maybe a little bit more.
Something like that. And then
the first year he got paid like 27 million. The second year he got paid like 34. So he was looking at like 44 million the next year, and they just had to let him go. But
that's the risk I'd be willing to take. You know what? Cool. If I get hurt, I got 44 million coming to me. You know what? I'm cool. If I got 44 million coming to me, got 34 and 27 already. I'm good. I'm set. I'm all right. But like you said, the running back is very undervalued in this league. And when you're a running back under the franchise tag, I don't want to be tagged more than one time. Especially for a team like the Steelers, who's just going to try to squeeze everything they can out of you, not even caring for you to get your next contract. They don't care if you get that next bag or not. They don't care if you even make it to your next contract. They're trying to get what they can get out of you now because they have you on the contract.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got off topic, but
we did get a little off topic there.
I dig it, but it's just wrapping the whole AB thing up. I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement about it. It was stupid. You got your money. You're on a different team. Move on. But moving on, we also have the Russell Wilson situation. We gotta see exactly where it came from. Wasn't that Del Rio also said something? Was it him or was somebody said something?
That was
Del Rio.
By Del Rio.
Del Rio.
Man, he was just talking today, huh? All right. Well, he said he said that don't be surprised if Russell Wilson's playing for another team by the starting next year.
Line up in 2019.
All right. Well,
2019.
2019.
In 2019.
Yeah, did I say 18? I meant to say 19.
No, I mean I thought he was talking about 2020. Because if he's talking about 2019,
he was saying 2019. Well, that's what he's saying. He said, "Don't be surprised if Russell Wilson lines up quarterbacking for another team in 2019 by the time season starts."
So next season.
That's this season. This is the 2019
Well,
season. The coming
this
season.
season,
This upcoming season. Yes.
Yeah.
Picture that with a Kodak. Nah, like, come on, like Jack. Let's talk about this. Exactly.
This
What
man's
are
bored. He's
Yo,
yeah, what are
bored.
the
Like,
Seahawks going to do? The Seahawks have a franchise quarterback, and they're going down all completely downhill. So this is like, what do they plan to do?
Kuz brought up a really good point. Like who does Jack Del Rio work for? Like, does Jack Del Rio have a job right now? Jack Del Rio need to get himself a job.
Hold on. Let me read you
He
the exact.
needs
Let
to
me
worry
read you
about
the
lining
exact.
up to get somebody next season.
Let me read you the exact quote that got us thinking. Like, when did Jack Del Rio get hired? All right. So Jack Del Rio said, "Don't be surprised when we lined up for the season next year if Russell Wilson is quarterbacking somewhere else." And that brought up a question: when did Jack Del Rio get hired? Is he on the Seahawks? I haven't even heard from Jack Del Rio
Do the
since he got hired
Seahawks?
from the Raiders.
Do the Seahawks know they hired Jack Del Rio? I think that's the question. I think everybody needs to stop and ask themselves: Does Pete Carroll know? Does Pete Carroll know that him and Jack Del Rio are coworkers now? That they see each other regularly. Did Jack Del Rio just show up one day and he was like, "Yeah, I think I work here now." Like,
And I had to look it up, and I found a video of him saying it, and he said it just like that. He said, "When we line up next year, Jack, are you working for the Seahawks or what?"
Jack, let's talk about this, Jack.
I'm weighing out. I don't know what's going on. Like, weighing out my options. I'm just over here in Seattle right now.
Like, come on, like, where did he come from? Again, like, it goes back to the we in this. Like, who is we? Like, we as a whole NFL. Like, are we like? I don't know. We looked and you look it up. We just looked it up, and it's like he does not work for the Seahawks. So
he was in a video, and he was on NFL Network in a suit. It just said Jack Del Rio. It didn't say coach or position for the Seahawks. It said Jack Del Rio, and he said verbatim what was said in that quote. He said, "When we line up."
Let's play devil's advocate here. Maybe he means like football in general.
Yeah,
like
maybe
football. But like, here's the thing, right? Like,
he could have worded it differently.
Here's the thing. Russell Wilson gave them that deadline apparently to sign that extension, right? And even if they don't get the extension done, is any team really going to trade for him when they know, unless they know immediately as soon as they get him that they're going to sign him to an extension? Is any team really going to trade for him on a 1-year deal?
I'm not, and I'm definitely not giving up a top pick for it either, because he's 30 years old right now. By the time the season's over, actually even by the time of playoffs, before the end of the season, before the regular season is over, he'll be 31 years old. I'm not giving up a top pick for that.
So,
if he would have been on the trade block when he was like mid-20s, for sure.
I mean, we're in a time where Nick Foles gets a 4-year deal. I'm sure.
Yeah, but all those teams are already locked in the contracts.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. If Russell Wilson, let's say hypothetically, he is on the market, I think any team without a quarterback would do that. You know, I mean, I'm thinking any team without an elite quarterback is definitely, at least looking at the option, seeing exactly how much the asking price is. Because I mean, he has flirted with a couple of MVPs, like over the past 2 seasons. But like if he was actually on the table and somebody was willing to do the deal, I'm sure that they would give him the money for an extension, at least 4 to 5 years, because like Aaron Rodgers is still getting his money and he's still doing his thing.
That's Rodgers though.
Yeah, that's Rodgers.
You can't compare the two.
I'm saying, how old is Matt Stafford?
That's more comparable because Russell Wilson is definitely better than Matt Stafford.
Like clearly better than Matt Stafford.
Definitely better than Matt Stafford.
I mean, I think Russell Wilson is still in that first tier of quarterbacks, and elite I do think he's in the elite bracket of quarterbacks, and elite quarterbacks do not hit the market almost ever.
ever.
So
I mean,
if
Peyton,
he happened,
Peyton.
exactly, and that was because he had
Yeah.
the neck surgery.
next
Yep.
surgery.
You know, there was a huge question mark. Nobody is going to get rid of that quarterback because of a contract dispute. No, they're going to pay him.
The Colts didn't even know if he was ever going to come back either when that happened, and they went ahead and drafted Andrew Luck. And to be honest with you, Peyton played like dog shit in that Super Bowl. That defense won them that Super Bowl.
That Super Bowl, but his time in Denver was amazing. Like at least the first 3 years, you know, the first time they made it to the Super Bowl, even though that was a horrible. He played in dog shit in that Super Bowl too.
Yeah, he did.
But like the 55 touchdown season, like that shit was amazing. You know,
Under Adam Gase.
Adam Gase. Well said.
I got to throw my shots in here and there.
But getting away, top 10 quarterbacks don't hit the market, you know, unless they like retire. Brett Favre, you know, but you.
Oh boy.
We're not gonna go there.
No, we're not. I mean,
other quarterbacks like you would. How old was Joe Montana when he left the Niners?
oh man,
I think he was.
You're asking me. You're asking me.
let me go call my dad real quick.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, when do elite quarterbacks move? We don't talk about this, you know? So, if the Seahawks are stupid enough to do it, cool. Become the Browns.
I mean, we can talk about the one big rumor that we heard about it. I know Boo's not gonna like it, but we could talk about the rumor that Colin Cowherd brought up about Russell Wilson possibly coming to the Giants.
Oh, the Giants ASAP.
For those 2 first-round picks this year's draft.
Cowherd said they give up. He's on that. Oh, Colin Cowherd be on the same shit UCF fans be on. They got the same plug.
That 6 and that 17 pick for Russell Wilson.
Wait, 6 and 17 for Russell Wilson straight up?
Yeah.
Two things with that, right? Okay. A, I'm not trading top picks for him. He's 30, going to be 31 by the time season's over. 2, if you give up the 6 and 17 pick for Russell Wilson, who's he going to throw to? What team is he going to have?
Who's he going to throw to regardless? Like,
I mean, 6 and 17 picks to get a receiver.
Hey, we just re-signed Sterling Shepard. 4 years.
You're going to do
4 years, 41 mil, 21 mil guarantees.
Look, I'm not knocking Sterling Shepard. I actually like Sterling Shepard, but if
there's nobody, we got 2 slot receivers. We got 2 of them. We got 2 slot receivers. Some teams got 1.
5'10" receivers.
Oh, 2.
Some teams have no slot receivers. A lot of people.
The Jets got more. The Jets got a couple.
Yeah, I got like 2 or 3.
Yeah, you're right.
Man, see, but then we got the Cowboys. They lost Cole Beasley, so they don't even have a slot receiver now. So we're actually ahead of the curve in slot receivers.
I hate Cole Beasley, honestly.
I know now because he's not a Cowboy anymore. So now I don't care.
Yeah, he's not factoring.
That dude is a gamer.
I can say it now because he's not on the Cowboys.
It's like, say what you want about the man. I know y'all hate him because he's on the Cowboys, but
debatable.
The kid is clutch.
He's on the Bills now, so I don't care. He's in your division now.
Hey, agree to disagree.
Bills.
Yeah, Kobe's on the Bills now, so you gotta deal with him.
Hey, somebody, a source very close to me told me he was a gamer, so you should watch out for him.
a source to the right of you on my chat, on my screen.
I think you know him pretty well.
I mean, hey,
guys going places.
I'm happy I don't gotta see him no more, man. It wasn't T.O. It wasn't Des Bryant. It wasn't Amari Cooper. It was Cole Beasley that killed the Giants. Him and Jason Witten killed the Giants. That was it. I don't
Single-handedly.
care. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah. Well, that Colin Coward rumor, I don't know. 16-17, I wouldn't pull it at all. I back out of that. I mean, even if you said we went in the second round and drafted a receiver, like it's still 16-17. I couldn't do it.
Colin
No,
Coward.
I mean, not at this point. And like, you guys just got rid of Odell. You know, you guys are just starting to take apart the team that y'all just put together a couple years ago. So, the timelines don't match for if the Giants were to do a move like that. But one thing that would be consistent if they did make the move is that it would confuse the fuck out of everybody. And, like a lot of this offseason, people have been confused about what the Giants are trying to do.
Listen, the Giants are not going to get fleeced twice in the same offseason. It's not going to happen.
You never know.
That was last episode. We're not doing that anymore.
I'm trying to let Dre know it's not happening twice.
All right.
Lightning don't strike twice.
If we get fleeced again, we're gonna go do that in the next episode. We're gonna wait though. We're not going back.
Okay.
I think
He's still raw.
I'm telling you, I got that breaking news with Sterling Shepard, 41. I was waiting for breaking Giants trade Sterling Shepard. I was waiting for it. Like, go ahead, gentlemen. I'm ready for it now. I'm waiting.
Now I'm expecting it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Colin Coward need to give Jack Del Rio a job. Honestly. They both come out here with these crazy reports.
That would be awesome. Really cool. Better have the greatest hypotheticals that would never happen.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Russell Wilson. I mean, there's a couple teams he could play for, but I mean, he played for a lot of teams. I mean, don't get me wrong, but for what he'd probably command at this stage in his career, at 31 or whatever, 30, I wouldn't pull it. It's going to cost you like probably 2 to 3 first round picks and a lot more. Like I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't pull that trade ever.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he would play for a lot of teams. I just don't want him on my team, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's say
you want to take pick 17, I'll be fine with you taking pick 17. 1 first round pick, I might do it. I don't know. I consider it.
I'd probably offer my second round pick, honestly.
That wouldn't get it. Like they wouldn't even pick up the phone for that.
And you know what? That's fine because I'm taking my finger off the trigger at that point.
Starting quarterbacks start at a second round pick when you're talking about, like the middling ones,
Like you're talking about like 3rd and 4th is what it starts at for the middle.
Look, I'm gonna be real.
For a starting quarterback, most of the time you're going to start off.
I'm gonna be real.
What the Redskins give up for Case Keenum? He's in the middle of the pack, starting quarterback.
He might not start. He's probably they're hoping that he doesn't have to start.
But when they traded for him, he's in the middle of the pack, starting quarterback.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm not giving up a first round pick. I'm not giving up a first round pick for any quarterback that's not Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. Those are the only quarterbacks I'm giving up a first round pick for. Right now.
Honestly,
I would give up 6th, 17th, and next year's first for Patrick Mahomes.
For Mahomes and Watson, I'd give a first round pick.
Just being honest, let's say Carson Wentz was not.
I'm not giving up a first for him. He's not healthy.
I'm not talking about Carson. Carson is not in Philly. I'm willing to give up a couple first round picks for Russell Wilson if my team is built to win immediately. If I have a solid offensive line, a great defense, a great
first round picks,
multiple.
Crazy, bro. You wildin'.
Like when you think about Sam Bradford went for a first round pick.
Hey, when y'all
Sam Bradford went for a first round pick. Like this is what was he? You know?
Yo, you're helping the Cruz's fleece argument. You gotta chill.
I mean, you
Promote
can't
yourself.
you can't fleecing people. He didn't even have nothing to do with that. He got traded and fleeced somebody else. But I'm saying, like, if you look at when quarterbacks were traded in the NFL, when you're talking about a starting quarterback or at least all pro quarterback, you know, or a Pro Bowl quarterback, they go for at least a second round or better. So, I mean, Russell Wilson, especially seeing the seasons he's had and seeing that he's basically carried them while they dismantled their offensive line. They gave most of their starting offensive line from the Super Bowl era to the Jets. So it's like, I mean,
one player,
one of them. I thought it was two of them.
just James Carpenter.
That's James Carpenter.
Just
Okay,
James
well,
Carpenter.
they got rid of everybody else. But either way,
Let me say this: the thing is with Russell Wilson. Well, the thing is with the Seahawks,
uh,
like there's no in between. Either Russell Wilson's got to be fucking Superman, or they're not winning.
Facts.
Like there's no in between. There's no like he can't just be serviceable. He's got to be Superman, or they're losing the game. And that's not fair to him.
That's because they paid him and they couldn't put people around him. That's the thing that's why like people are hailing Sean McVay as a genius, because his system of keeping a rookie quarterback who's on that contract, you get to surround him with talent. It's once you get to that next level where you realize like, oh man, this is a guy we're probably going to have to pay. Like Kansas City's going to run into that problem with Patrick Mahomes when they have to give him that super. He's going to get something stupid, 150 mil, probably like 80 guaranteed, something crazy. So let's see.
$40 million quarterback we see.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to see who are they going to be able to put around. And they might be able to keep like Kelsey or somebody, but I don't know.
Also keep in mind, by the time that happens, the salary cap might be through the roof. Because that's another 3 years. They got him under a rookie contract for this season and 2 more.
But that's the CBA is about to happen. That whole negotiation's about to happen again,
and it's going to go up by a lot. You know. But
yeah,
I'm saying like quarterbacks get paid. You know, the Seahawks are not in a position with any leverage, so they are going to pay Russell Wilson. Like if they let Russell Wilson go, you know, they'll lose whatever that is. You know, if they trade away Russell Wilson, I don't care if it's for 2 first round picks. If it's to a good team, then they lost that trade. And Russell Wilson is probably going to succeed there better than whatever they got to replace him with, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean,
for Eli and 6, you wouldn't do it.
Here we go.
I'm not doing it, bro.
I knew I should have cut you off. I knew I should have cut him off. We're not doing that.
It's like, look, either you giving us the 6 by itself, or you giving us Eli a 6 and a 3rd. Like,
you wilding right now.
I'll
tell you what. I give him Eli in a second.
Honestly, I think you guys are like really, like you guys are a lot lower on Russell Wilson than I am. You know,
it's not that I'm low on Russell Wilson. I find it very hard for me to give up a first-round pick, let alone multiple first-round picks for a quarterback who's already 30, will be 31 by the season's over, and who will most likely be a free agent at the end of the season.
I think it's not so much that we're low on him, it's his trade valuation of him. I'm not giving up something that's going to take away from my future, even something as high as a second-round pick. I don't know if I'd be comfortable. If it was like a top 5 second-round pick, I don't know if I'd want to give that away when I know when this player hits the market, they're going to get the money that he deserves. So why am I going to keep him here on a 1 year and give up some pick? Now, if I really want him that bad, I'll probably be able to pay him what I think he's worth on the free agency market.
Yep.
I mean, you see what the Bears did with Khalil Mack. You know, the Raiders were, didn't feel like he was worth the money. Same as the Seahawks are doing, similar situation. They traded him, and they got a first round pick in return, and you know, but the Bears immediately got better. The Bears defense immediately went to the best in the league. It's like
But
that's what I'm saying. That I don't.
you
I don't
can't
feel
you
like
can't you can't compare that. That's
I
not a
feel
good comparison because Khalil Mack is still in his 20s.
Mhm.
He is still wreaking havoc on offensive lines and quarterbacks.
Uh,
And to be honest with you, I don't think that it wasn't that the Raiders didn't feel he was worth the money. I think it was the Raiders knew that if they gave him that money, they're not going to be able to add players elsewhere.
mhm.
So why not get what you can now? And the Bears could. The Bears are such a young team; they could afford to give him that money. So I don't think it's necessarily that at all. It's not the same thing. I don't think it's the same. You can't compare the two.
Uh, One, I'll say that the Raiders. I don't think that was the situation as far as cap movement because what they gave AB was pretty crazy. That was more than what they were going to give. I believe that they gave AB more than
Yeah, but how much is
is getting
guaranteed?
now.
How much is guaranteed in that contract?
I'm not sure, but I mean, even still, they're giving AB more. Like I believe that they're giving AB more money than Khalil Mack is getting from the Bears. But my whole thing is really about the impact. If a team doesn't have a franchise quarterback, Russell Wilson, and getting you 35 touchdowns and less than 15 interceptions every year, that's a big deal. I, the Vikings would do that in a heartbeat if they can get Kirk Cousins
So
off as well as give up just street
so
draft capital. I believe that they'll do that trade immediately.
all right. So just for the sake of the conversation,
Mhm.
Antonio Brown's contract with the Raiders is a 3-year, $50 million contract. Only 30.25 is guaranteed. So that's essentially a $15 million a year contract for 2 years. So
Okay,
it's what is it? Let's see, it's 30.125 million guaranteed.
Mac is getting more than him. Like
Yeah.
it's
So that you
possibly
keep moving further from the point you're trying to prove.
no, yeah. I said I believe that he had it, but
That's like when you're
but
doing
either
like
way, but
when you're doing contract comparison, always looking to guaranteed money.
of course, but
So
at the same time, you still have to consider the cap because
because
that is
it's
exactly how much is going to that player is going to get for that year if he makes it through healthy. So,
it,
like when you think about Antonio Brown's impact versus a Khalil Mack, we could debate about that, but either way, it just didn't make sense to me that they wouldn't pay Khalil Mack even if he would have cost more because even if you're talking about the age, because Antonio Brown is how old? You know,
31
31.
maybe.
exact. And we're talking about Russell Wilson, who's in a much more crucial position.
But
And
again,
like of course he's going to get paid more,
but
but
again, look at who gave him that money. Nobody else was
Did
going
I,
to give him that
what did
money.
I say? What did I say was going to happen?
Nobody else is going to give him that money.
nobody
Yeah,
else is going to give Russell that money, right? That's what you said.
I'm saying that like and honestly, they didn't have to give up a first round pick to get Antonio Brown. They gave up a third and a fifth.
Fleece.
They gave him a third and a fifth and gave him a 3-year, $50 million contract with 30.25 million guaranteed.
Facts.
That's it's essentially they gave up a third and a fifth round pick for a 2-year contract at 15 million per for Antonio Brown. I think Khalil Mack is getting somewhere in the 20 to 25 million a year range. Because
Not her, but
he
that's
set
the
the
cap number
he
in the
set the
beginning.
record, and I think he had the record for like a day, maybe a few days, and then Aaron Donald signed that record deal.
Yeah.
So that was a monster contract.
Mhm.
Well, two quick things. I think one, As far as the whole Pat Mahomes thing we talked about real quick, I think whenever CBA drops, the salary cap drops, I think honestly his contract's going to push 200 mil. And because I mean, if you look at his age and his production, I think he's going to push close to 200 mil. That's one. And two, I think going back to the whole Colin Coward, Russell Wilson thing real quick, I think if the Giants were to trade 6 and 17, I think we're going to get Russell Wilson and we're going to get Doug Baldwin. We're going to get 3 slot receivers. Let's go. All right.
So hold on, just because I just looked it up because I had a note, just like because now I was curious that we're talking about it. So Khalil Max, yeah, I was because we were talking about like I was, what was this contract? So Khalil Max signed an extension with the Bears for 6 years, $141 million, $60 million guaranteed. That's when you do the math, like not even taking the guaranteed in consideration, he's making 23.5 mil per season.
How much is it? Is guaranteed per year? Same year.
I don't know about per year, but the guarantee, the fully guaranteed money in the contract is $60 million. So you figure that's at least 3 seasons worth of guaranteed money.
You said $68 million over
60 million over the contract was 6 years, 141 million, 60 million guaranteed.
So 60 million.
But that was off the extension. So remember, he was still playing this contract. So,
but my question is that 60 million guaranteed for a 6-year contract, correct? So by your math, with the guaranteed money, that's 10 million per.
No.
Exactly. Probably because it's probably front loaded.
Here's how it's front loaded because when teams make these big contracts, they front load it. So if it doesn't work out in 2 or 3 years, you can cut them after that. You're off the hook for all the dead money. And that's one thing I've realized Mike McCagnon does with a lot of his contracts. There's always a way out after year 3. Always a year out. There's always a way out.
If you're a smart team, that's what you do with any contract extensions. That you make it front loaded so they can pay you your guaranteed money quick. If after year 2 or year 3 it's not working out, they don't want to pay you the remainder of that contract. They cut you and you're already paid your full amount.
Plus, also just keep in mind that he was still playing under his contract currently, which I think he was getting. I think he got paid. I want to say $14 million this year. So he was the overall contract with this year included. It was 7 years, $155 million he'd be making. So when you do the guaranteed money, like you take the 141 and you divide it by 6 years, it's 23.5 mil per season. So you got at least 3 years worth in guaranteed money going towards Khalil Mack. Give or take.
Depending on when the last year of guaranteed money is owed. Because
it's always going to be for sure right around the 2 or 3 mark. Because I don't think he's going to get paid $30 million per season for 2 years. He's going to get, like I said, he's going to get paid in the $20 to $25 million range.
Yeah, a lot of contracts are backloaded so that a lot of that deal later. Well, a lot of people backload their contracts so that when it comes time for them to get that big cap that it's about to come, they restructure and bring it back down.
So I'm glad you said restructure. That's what it is. It's front loaded, but in order to make room for cap space, they restructure to make it backloaded, which means they're on the hook for guaranteed money way longer than they originally planned. Because they restructure contract for that current year, they're still owed that guaranteed money, but now you have to pay it. You have to pay them more in a season they weren't supposed to be getting that much money. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they never backload the contract. It ends up that way when they restructure to make room for that current season. Like if they're in a tight spot, they'll restructure and they'll give him more guaranteed money like the next year or like 2 years down the line.
Yeah, because right now I'm looking at his contract and it doesn't look like they're finished with the dead cap until 2022.
3 years.
4 years. 2019, 2020, 21, and 22.
That's 3 years. That's 3 this season, next season. So that's the 4th year of the contract of the dead money, which is similar to what I was saying because you're guaranteed 3 years worth of fully guaranteed money, and then you got the $9 million which it would be like 9 or 10 million rolled over to that fourth year.
Yeah, but I mean, still, in my book, I don't get why you wouldn't pay the top defensive player in the league against, the top wide receiver. But, that's a different conversation for a different day. Let's get back to it.
You sure?
We got a lot. We got topics. I'm liking.
We can do it because let's keep it funky. You know my whole argument about elite receivers. You don't need an elite receiver.
Another episode.
Okay, there you go.
I shouldn't have given you an option.
Not to give me an opportunity. You know better.
You're right. You're right. I messed up. I wish that iron hit you too, but we're gonna move on.
It did. My shoulder hurt. It's bruised. You're welcome.
We're aiming for your head, but anyway. All right. So the last thing we're gonna get into is the inaugural Nosebleed Section first round mock. We're gonna go pick by pick. Before I get into that, I just want to say real quick, it's not a basketball podcast, but shout out Dwayne Wade. Saw his last game.
Shout out D-Wade.
Shout out D-Wade. He retired. My Nets got the W, but he's definitely probably, I'd say, top.
All right, another podcast, Joe. Another episode, Joe. Not different episode.
All right.
He did try. He dropped it. He dropped a triple double though. Just like
I'm trying to say that until Kuz coming up to another podcast. So
I didn't like where this was going, so we're just gonna move on to we're not doing this right now, Joe.
You're right. I apologize.
It's too soon. It's very too soon. Too fresh. I appreciate the shout out, but that's where we're gonna leave it.
You just bring up the. All right, I'm gonna move on. So we're gonna start up. I'll take the first pick in the draft, and what's Cardinals GM? I should have wrote the GM's names too. Steve Time. Go ahead. What? You can't call my war room right now.
No,
I'm busy. What's up?
Hey, what's order though? Just so I know.
Joe
goes one.
I'm going one. Who had the second pick? You, right?
I'll take two.
I'm going to take two.
Who's has three?
Of course.
Four.
All right.
That leaves you at pick 20 with your Eagles.
Huh?
That leaves you at pick 20, I believe. But you're gonna have the Eagles pick at pick 20.
Oh no, 25.
Oh, you're 25. Oh well, whatever. Shut up. You're gonna Kuz. Kuz is at 3.
You could. I'm trading that pick personally between you guys.
We decline all trades. We decline everything. Don't call my phone. I'm in the phone. I'm busy.
Yeah, nobody in here is picking for the Eagles but me. You know this. Right. I know what you got written. I'll say it before you. Andre Dillard, what up?
It's like, what if he's gone by then, Dre? What are you gonna pick then?
I'm going to pick.
Say, what if he's gone by the time 25? We don't know you. We ain't got.
I don't know who's up there. I don't know who I'm going to pick, but I'm gonna pick it.
You don't got pick 5. Pick 5. I don't.
Yeah.
You got pick up at 25. So don't.
I got pick 5.
Hey, whoever
sorry, you don't got pick 25. Whatever. The Eagles pick. My bad.
Yeah, that's
My
crazy.
bad, I got pick 7.
Dre gonna run up to the podium during another team pick, talk about.
Hey, Eagles pick Andre Dillard.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Hey, and with this
Philadelphia Eagles,
like, nah, Dre, you gotta get out of here, Dre.
Nah, you better hope it ain't me, because I'm pulling up the best long snapper I could find for y'all in the first round. I'm rooting, yo.
It's
All right, so with the first pick, I thought about going Bosa, but I'm gonna go Kyler Murray. I'm gonna take Kyler Murray. We're gonna see what happens after, but the Cardinals are selecting Kyler Murray first overall pick. So pick 2's up.
All right. And with the second pick, I have the San Francisco 49ers taking Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle out of Alabama.
All right.
If this happens like this, and I'm the Jets, I'm running to the podium, and I'm picking Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa.
Nick
Nick
Bosa. Same thing.
Bosa goes 3 to the Jets.
Bosa.
All right. Pick
4 is what team is that?
Get it
4
together,
is the
Dre.
Raiders. Killing me.
Raiders. The
The Raiders.
Raiders get their replacement for Khalil Mack and Josh Allen.
All right. That drops it to me at 5 with the Bucks. Boo, don't hate me, but you know it makes the most sense. You know, at 5, I'm hating just as much as you, but you know, at 5, the Bucks are going Devin White. So you know what's happening.
Yep, they did
You know
just lose
what's
Juwan
happening.
Alexander.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. You know what's happening. So number 6, you're on the clock with the Giants. You have 10 seconds left.
So with the 6th pick, I have
Geez.
I have the New York Giants taking Rashawn Gary, defensive end from Michigan.
All right. Then we have
pick 7 is the Jaguars. I think they're gonna go offensive tackle here, and I think they're gonna pick Juwan Taylor out of Florida.
Good shit.
All right.
Hey, you got to get somebody to protect Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Especially on the blind side.
Yeah. All right. Pick 8.
That's the Detroit Lions.
Where are you going?
And I think that they will pick up Montez Sweat.
Solid.
Montez Sweat.
They did.
All right. So we're going to
you, and it's the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills. On the Buffalo Bills, I feel like at this stage, they don't need a quarterback. I feel like it's a little too high for Metcalf at 8.
9.
9. Sorry, I think it's a little too high for him. I would have gone Juwan Taylor if he was there, just to shore up offensive line and build and get your franchise left tackle for Josh Allen. But I might go defense here, and I think I got Dexter Lawrence name staring me in the face. I might try to replace Kyle Williams with Dexter Lawrence there. Plug up that middle. I think I'm gonna go Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, I think it's Dexter Lawrence. I think I'm gonna do that. Try to replace Kyle Williams.
Even with Jonas still on the board.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, I respect that. I just had to ask.
No, I thought about it. I'm staring at Jordan Williams too, but I feel like I don't feel like he's a left tackle. I don't feel like he's a franchise left tackle in the NFL. So I feel like it's a little too high at 9 to draft a right tackle, or somebody's going to trade it to a right guard, even though Quentin Nelson went pretty high. But
Number 6.
That's where I'm going to go.
All right, Abood, you're up. Number 10, Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos, I got the second quarterback coming off the board here, but I got Drew Lock, quarterback out of Missouri, going to Denver Broncos. I feel like this is a guy John Elway probably is in love with, and can't wait to get him in. And yeah, so I think he's going to be the second quarterback taken off the board, strictly because of. Well, I mean, I'm not that big on Haskins, but also just strictly because if you look at the previous 9 teams beforehand, it just wasn't a team that I really saw Haskins going to. But yeah, so I got Lock going at 10.
Okay. All right, so I'm at 11 with the Bengals. And I think if a solid QB is available, which in our draft there is, I think they're going to pick, in our draft, they're going to take Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State.
All right. You think that's the end of the era?
If he wasn't available, I was going to say they were going to take Will Grier. But in this draft, Dwayne Haskins is sitting there at 11. Like I did with my Jets pick, if on the bench, I'm into the podium and taking Haskins. And he doesn't have to start right away. You could deal Andy Dalton for another season. Let Haskins sit. You don't have
That's
to
what I was
rush
going
him.
to ask.
If he's ready, he's ready. If he's not, it's not going to hurt him to sit here.
You don't think new coach, new regime, new quarterback?
I mean, it's possible. But I'm saying, like I said, like they still have Andy Dalton, and Haskins falls in your lap at 11. You don't have to rush him into the field. It could be new coach, new quarterback, new era, but that doesn't mean you gotta rush the quarterback onto the field. If
At
he's
least
not,
they have the option.
like I said, if he's ready, he balls out in the preseason and the camp, and they feel he's ready. By all means, start him. But if not, you don't need to start him. You still got Andy Dalton. Like him or not, Andy Dalton's serviceable.
Yeah.
So that's my pick for the Bengals at number 11.
All right.
All right. So number 12 is the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the athletic freak is coming off the board, DK Metcalf. They really need to open it up. You know, Aaron Rodgers needs as many targets as possible.
All right.
Pretty good.
Did the Packers just sign somebody? I feel like they just signed a receiver or somebody though. Maybe I'll look at somebody else. I'm not sure.
I feel like they were talking about bringing Jordy Nelson back. I don't know if they signed anybody though.
I don't think it happened yet.
Didn't Jordy retire?
The Packers have re-signed Mercedes Lewis. That's the only thing that they did.
Tight end.
Yeah.
All right. We got the Dolphins. Is that me on the clock?
That's you. That's
On
you.
the clock.
Miami Dolphins pick. Well, I think looking at the big board, I think quarterback Haskins is gone. I would have ran to the podium and took Haskins. I wouldn't. I don't think that. I wouldn't go. I'm not going to go Daniel Jones here. I'm not going Drew Lock. I can't. I don't know about Will Greer in there, but I think I'm going to start working on the O-line. So for whatever quarterback is there, we'll have a solid offensive line. So I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go Jonah Williams here. I'm going to go Jonah Williams, solidify some offensive line play. Now you have a solid line, you got solid pieces on there. So if somebody like a Will Greer or Daniel Jones is there in the second round, you go back and get them. Maybe they bring in. They got Fitzpatrick there too.
Don't they have Laramie Tunsil as well?
Yeah.
As a tackle.
Yeah, he's at left tackle, but I think
you think they plug Jonah at right tackle?
Either right tackle or one of the guard spots, because I don't know if I don't know if they have Juwan James still. I know he was a free agent. They might have re-signed him. I don't know if he's there or if he's
No, they don't.
Left,
I don't think they do. I think he got paid from somebody else.
All right, so then you can pick Jonah Williams and you plug him into that right tackle or a guard spot. But I think he walks in and instantly starts.
Yeah, Juwan James went to the Broncos.
There you go. So now they got what? Fitzpatrick there for 2 years, right? Dolphins?
Yep.
So protect him. Maybe if Greer or Daniel Jones there second round, take them. They'll sit behind Greer for 2 years. They'll sit behind Fitzpatrick for 2 years, and then you got to fight the quarterback, hopefully. All right. So we got the Falcons on the clock.
That's you, Abood.
Okay, so here I have the Atlanta Falcons going defensive end / defensive tackle Christian Wilkins out of Clemson. I think defense is a big necessity.
All right. Do they have
theirs? And
they still have Grady Jarrett, right? I believe they do.
I think so. I think they franchised him actually.
Yeah. Okay.
They franchised him, and I think they still got Vic Beasley, and they got Takaris McKinley as well. That they just drafted recently.
All right. So that D line is young, and they were really solid. That's not bad at all. I know he's helpful along the offensive line because they just
and Wilkins can play on the inside too. He doesn't have to play on the outside.
Yeah, I said D tackle
he'll
too.
he'll be a D tackle.
Yeah. So that would make their defensive line very serious.
Oh yeah, they're all like what? Probably like I think the oldest one's like Vic Beasley, maybe. I don't think he's even 30 yet. He's probably what, like 27, 26?
Yeah. I don't even think he's really young.
Yeah, it's gotta be young. That could be a good front four for a while. All right. So we're gonna run through the Redskins.
I'm at 15 with the Redskins. Me personally, I would probably say Will Greer here, but knowing the Redskins, I have a feeling if Daniel Jones is here, they're gonna pick Daniel Jones. So that's who I'm going with.
All right, Daniel Jones. Why do you think he's their pick?
I just think they're gonna like the bigger quarterback, the more pro-ready quarterback. He's got everything. He's just got injury concerns, man.
Yeah, even though he has like less of an arm than their other quarterbacks.
Like I said, me personally, if it was any other team, I would go Will Greer here if they need a quarterback. But I just think the Redskins just like Daniel Jones a lot better.
All right. I mean, I can see the pick. I definitely can see the pick. Sit behind Peter for a year or two, get accustomed to the NFL game, and take it from there. All right, Dre. You're up with the Panthers pick.
All right. Carolina Panthers select Brian Burns out of Florida State. I think that they need as much help as they can on the end. Brian Burns is a kid with a really high upside. And I think this is the perfect spot for him right at 16 to the Panthers.
All right. I know me and Kuz have talked about this Florida State for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie here. I'm not a big fan of Brian Burns.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan.
I agree.
I see Brian Burns and I see Everett Brown. Like the Panthers, and I believe the Panthers drafted Everett Brown too. He was a second round.
I think you're right.
He was a DN from Florida State, and I think the only difference was I think he was 6'2" or 6'1", and Brian Burns was like 6'4". That's the only difference. But
Carolina Panthers second round, yeah.
There you go. I see Brian Burns. I see Everett Brown. That's just what I see. I'm not a big fan of his. He seems like look at the Eagles with Josh Sweat last year. He came off injuries, but there's a lot of these Florida State pass rushers to me just don't really transfer. And I like what's the name too? I think it was DeMarcus Walker.
And I think they all fall into the same category of really high upside, really high risk, high reward.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because they're inside players. Their D tackles are really good. Their inside players are pretty solid in the NFL. It's just their edge rushers to me just don't develop. I don't know what it is.
Because they had elite tackles next to them the whole time. Hey, we'll see. But I'm standing by it, Brian Burns.
All right. I'm kind of happy I got a Giants pick here.
Look at that. You got your Giants pick. Listen, hold on. Before you make a pick, just since we all got to pick one of our team's first round picks, I feel like somebody should definitely have to swap picks with Dre. Exactly. Not trade up team, but just swap the picks so Dre can pick his team's pick.
Just take 25. I'll take 24. So
listen,
don't have to change anything else.
We chose what we chose. You can't change.
I said what I said.
Hey man,
what I said.
You can't.
You had my vote, Dre.
I'm not accepting no trades. Don't even call my phone. I don't care.
Abood, what's your vote? Because you're the deciding factor. Because Drake can't vote.
Wow.
Don't be that guy.
Wow.
I don't want any problems. This is a kid
Giants
show.
took Noah Fant at 17.
Another tight end? I was dying. No way.
Yo, no lie, TJ Hawkinson is still on the board though.
So
I
is Noah
know.
Fant,
That is.
and so is Irv Smith.
Yeah, and Noah Fant. But at 17, I'm the Giants. I'm not going to second tight end. It's not happening. I'll tell you what. At 17, the Giants have Jabril Peppers, University of Michigan safety. We just drafted that
Sean Gary.
Sean Gary, DN/D tackle, University of Michigan. At 17, I'm sprinting to the podium in my suit from the war room, and I'm drafting Devin Bush, linebacker.
Oh wow,
Michigan.
solid. That's not who I thought you were gonna pick, but that's solid.
Linebacker.
I thought you were gonna say Clelin Ferrell.
We already got Sean Gary.
Went in.
I mean, hey man, I'm a defensive guy. You can never have too many good defensive linemen.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, you get 2 bookends, that'd be sick. But hey, you got a Michigan player on every level of the defense now. I'm with that.
All right, I like it.
18 Vikings. Is Booth frozen or Booth speak? Somewhere along the lines.
No, he's just like that.
Man.
I'm just saying. Booth is
Really right. Eddie Black.
he is me, Millie Rock right now.
All right.
I don't know what happened.
You're on the clock.
Let's see what he sends me.
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Oh, he's back.
He's
back.
It's all fast forwarded.
Not only can we hear you, you're not frozen anymore.
Yeah, you hit the illest Millie Rock I've ever seen.
Yo, I don't know what happened. Yo.
You were stuck like this. You were stuck just like this.
With the most joy I've ever seen on your face. Just pure glee.
All right, what pick I got? I got pick 18.
Vikings, yeah.
All right, 18. I got the Minnesota Vikings getting Cody Ford out of Oklahoma.
Okay. All right.
True.
Line. All right. Tennessee Titans at 19.
Tennessee Titans, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna take the first tight end off the board, and I'm going Noah Fant.
Whoa.
Going Noah Fant.
Oh. Wait on my soul. I was like TJ Hawkinson. Oh.
I gave it some thought. It was very, very tough, but I just like Fant better as a player. He's more athletic. He's still got the hands, and he can block. And he's faster.
Respect.
All right.
It was a tough choice. It was definitely between them two, but that was I had to go with Noah Fant. He's just a freak of nature, and dude can ball.
All right. I like it. All right. Steelers pick 20.
Steelers pick 20. All right. So, I might be bugging. Like, I wish we could see like which players were already picked.
Oh, what a guy!
Did any quarterbacks go so far?
What is your research?
Corner.
Corner.
No cornerbacks.
Okay, so the first cornerback comes off the board to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Greedy Williams.
Solid
pick.
Top cornerback in the class. First one off the board. Makes sense.
Values there, everything.
That's great value at 20.
Oh yeah.
He's a projected top 10 player.
Possibly.
Yeah, I'd put him in the 10 to 15 range, I'd say. So for him to get my
There's a lot of good players in this draft, so some great ones are going to fall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The Steelers always need corner help, so that works. All right. Seahawks at 21. That's me. All right. I'm on the board. I'm John Snyder. Drink. I was gonna say I'm drinking some Starbucks. Let's see. I'm looking at my board. Who's still up here? Let's see. I'm thinking, do I want to go defense or do I want to go offense? Do I want to go Hawkinson?
10 seconds on the clock.
10 seconds on the clock. First round's like 20 minutes a pick. What is this? Oh my gosh. All right. Well, with the 21st pick in the draft, the Seattle Seahawks, we're going TJ Hawkinson. We're getting Russell Wilson another weapon besides a slot receiver.
Like, he could be dangerous in that offense.
Oh yeah. He's dropping for me. You got mocks to have him going to like the Lions, like 8 and stuff like that. So Seahawks would get Hawkinson, somebody else, so they're not just throwing the ball to Doug Baldwin and TJ Lockett. That would be solid for him. I almost went D-line, but I picked up and he can block too. I think he's a better blocker than Fant, honestly. But I do. But I think I think I like the Fant pick for the Titans because I think it fits their offense a lot better. I think he's like a taller Delaney Walker for me, honestly. So I like that pick too. But yeah, that's where I'm going at 21. All right. 22, Baltimore Ravens.
All right, so at 22, Baltimore, they got Lamar Jackson down there. They got a young quarterback. They want to shore up that offensive line. I have them taking Chris Lindstrom, guard, Boston College.
All
right. I think that's kind of a reach, but I respect it.
All right, bro.
I'm just saying, on my board it's a reach. On your board it might not be a reach.
Yeah, I had him going second round.
My board is shot right now. I just want you to know this. I'm pulling right now. I just want you to know.
Oh no. Okay. You can't reach in the first round.
Yo, I had a list of like 40 first round prospects just in case this happened, and I'm still like, I don't know.
All right, so I got the Texans at number 23. I think they need to get Deshaun Watson some more protection. Dre, you're gonna hate me for this one, but the value is too great here. I'm gonna have to go Andre Dillard. I had to do it, man. The value is too great.
He's a great player. He's a great player, but don't. That was his pick for the Eagles, not mine.
I'm just saying.
I had no preference about Andre Dillard. Good pick.
I thought you were here, but I mean, I still stick by it. It wasn't out of spite. I just the value is too great there at 23 for the Texans to get Deshaun Hill.
I was good. I mean, not gonna lie. I have the Eagles pick at 25 right now. I was gonna say Andre Dillard too. So.
Yeah.
All right, so Joe, how about you go right now at 24 and Andre at 25?
Fine. Oh my gosh. All right. I picked 24. It's a simple. He's still on the board.
No
and
Raiders.
And Oliver.
Oh, that was a really in our draft.
Yeah, he slipped.
Knowing damn well that I would have had,
I just want to let it be known
already. Like the Eagles would have traded up to like 16 for him. Like that's what I would have did with the Panthers.
Yeah, but this is not a.
I had him going at 9 to Buffalo.
That would have been a solid pick for Buffalo. I'm glad he didn't go there in this draft.
Exactly what you were saying about Andre Dillard. That's how I feel about.
That's a consensus projected top 10 pick that just fell in the laps of the Raiders at 24.
What a gut punch!
Yeah.
So they got Josh Allen and Ed Oliver.
Yep.
It's solid. All right, Dre, you're up. Eagles 25.
Watch them slide down the board.
Yep, I was watching it too. I was just trying to pick a team that to put them on.
Man.
None of my teams that came up, I was like, I can't see them picking them.
Where you going, Eagles?
So, Philadelphia Eagles. They don't have too many pressing concerns, but they have to get the best value at this time in the draft.
$3 seconds.
Two. The Eagles have 4
Matt
minutes.
Wilson, no, damn it.
Oh, that's
Nah.
uh,
No. I think that this draft still has a lot of offensive line talent. Not at 25 though. Damn. See, this is why we trade back.
Well, we gotta make the pick, man. I listen, bro. I fought for you to get this pick. You better make a selection.
Word, I have to, right?
either way, like
All right, cool. The Eagles take a flyer out on Jerry Tillery at defensive tackle.
I don't know, man. All right, I respect that. I guess that's a reach on my board as well. But I respect the pick.
yeah,
I mean,
second round grade for me.
Yep. No,
I mean,
Hey.
you have Jeffrey Simmons sitting on the board.
that's probably who I meant. Yeah. Yeah, boom, there you go. Jerry
which is it, man? What do you got down on the paper?
Simmons.
All right.
Jeffrey Simmons.
He's an awesome player with the character concerns, correct?
And then he's injured. He's coming off an injury.
Yeah, that's the one. You got all of those red flags. That's where you do take a risk. High risk, high reward. Yep, I'll take it.
All right.
I was going to say, you're going Jerry Tillery.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not what I meant.
All right, Abu,
Got some of the names mixed up.
All right, so
You got
I
the
pick
Colts.
26. We have the Indianapolis Colts. I have them taking a wide receiver here, Marquise Brown out of Oklahoma. I think they need another weapon on offense. I think they shored up their offensive line.
As the first receiver off the board?
No,
No.
DK.
No, DK went.
Just at 12 to the Packers.
You picked DK to the Packers?
Yeah, Dre did.
Okay. Oh, well, you just screwed my pick. Okay. All right. I like the pick there.
Yeah, so that's who I got.
All right, so I'm up here.
Who's
This one is the Raiders. They got this pick via the Cowboys and the Amari Cooper trade. So Joe picked two defensive players for them in the first two picks. I'm gonna go wide receiver here as well, and I'm gonna have them taking AJ Brown out of Ole Miss. Got to replace Amari Cooper.
Yeah. I mean, and him across from AB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AJ Brown and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Brown brothers.
The Browns.
What? AB will have a fit. Like,
Who?
There's only one Brown, bruh.
This room ain't big enough for the both of us.
All right, Trey, you're up with the Chargers at number 28.
The Los Angeles Chargers. I think that let's continue with the wide receivers. One off the board. A lot of people have him projected as the number one receiver. N'Keal Harry.
All right.
Sure.
Chargers?
The Chargers.
All right.
Yeah, Allen can't stay healthy. They need somebody young, somebody fresh.
I think he has a chance to go late first, but I late first, early second on him. That's not a bad pick at all.
Yeah, at 28.
Yeah, he's pretty much right there anyway. All right. So the Chiefs at pick 29. Chiefs at pick 29. I'm going BPA. I'm going BPA according to my big board. And my number 14 prospect is still on the board at 14 at pick 29. So we got to replace D Ford and we got to replace Justin Houston. So I'm going Cleveland Farrell.
Oh, you ain't shit, Joe.
I
was watching him slide too. That was gonna be my pick at 31.
Oh no. You gotta replace. Get that pass rush going, man. Get Cleveland Farrell. That's one piece. That's what I'm going at. Where we at? 30 and the Packers. All right.
So I had Cleveland going way earlier, but just when you made that pick of Devin White and I had to take Rashawn Gary, it completely threw everything off because I was like, I can't take Cleveland at 17 now because so. But
yeah, you could have because he was there. He was still there past 17.
You could have, but it's two. I would have, like Joe said, I would have rather addressed two levels of the defense instead of just adding two pieces to the D line. But at 30, I was thinking about the Packers, and I definitely think they want to help out their secondary. And I'm kind of torn right now because I put this pick down thinking there weren't going to be any other defensive backs available right now.
And all of them are.
and there's a lot of defensive back. One in particular that I'm considering right now. So I'm going to say at pick 30, the Green Bay Packers go DeAndre Baker out of Georgia. So I had him going in that mid 15 to 20 range. So the fact that he's still on the board is.
Wait, hold on. Do you make that pick remembering that they picked two corners last year and Jair Alexander and I forgot the other one. They picked two cornerbacks last year. You still make that pick knowing that? I just want to know.
No, probably not. Probably not now. Probably not now, honestly.
Well, you can't take the card back from the podium.
He didn't turn it yet.
I'm going to be confident
Right now, under contract, they have Kevin King, Jair Alexander, Josh Jackson, Tremont Williams, and
Josh Jackson. That was the other one they picked last year. Jair Alexander and Josh Jackson. And they picked Kevin King.
So Kevin King is only maybe like 3.
No, he was the draft before that, I believe. Yeah. So you're rocking with that pick?
I'm gonna say no. Listen. You let me finish. I'm gonna finish.
Is he done or is he finished?
So I'm gonna stick to my original pick. Then I'm gonna take Jonathan Abrams, safety out of Mississippi State.
Okay. All right.
Let's in the top of the second.
All right. Respect. He's the best safety in the draft.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right.
Definitely the best trash talker in the draft for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely the best trash talker. Right, so I'm on the board with the Los Angeles Rams. I know they need offensive linemen, but I don't see any here that I want to pick yet. All the other ones are gone, so I can wait till the next pick. So they also need safety help. So my pick for the Los Angeles Rams is going to be Taylor Rapp.
Ooh, very nice. All right. So, with the Rapp deal, are you playing Rapp at strong because they have Weddle at free safety, or they just signed there at Weddle? So, do you play Weddle at free safety, and do you play Rapp at strong safeties?
I would definitely keep Weddle at free safety and play Rapp at strong safety. And then maybe when Weddle leaves, if he wants to make that jump to free safety. I know he can play both. He's a very good safety. But starting out, he'll be my starting strong safety.
Cool. And then the final pick of the draft.
Patriots.
New England Patriots.
See that?
I'm looking at this, and I feel like I just need to make the most patriotist pick possible. And what
don't make me hate you. You better make it count.
What would be more Patriots than letting go of their offensive line and picking up the help that they need I have the Patriots picking up Dalton Reisner.
All right.
Cool.
That's a bit of a reach, but all right. That's definitely a Patriots pick.
Exactly, because you think it's a reach, and then all of a sudden this guy is getting paid 30.
Oh, it's a reach for any other team, but like that, I tell you what, the Patriots offensive line coach, that man needs a raise. That man needs an absolute like triple raise.
I thought you were going to say Garrett Bradbury, the center from NC State.
That was
That was a really good pick too. I can see that too.
They all mad versatile. They all played anything. Like
swing and
either him or I thought you were going to say Irv Smith, the tight end.
Nah, keep it G. I really wanted to go like to the bottom of my big board and just pick whoever's last. Like I was gonna go like I was gonna go Bryce Love or something. Just throw it out.
No, that's a serious reach. I have not seen Bryce Love in any round in any mock draft higher than 6.
Seriously?
Deadass.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now that we're through the draft,
had he came out last year, it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
Any mock draft I saw, like that I've ever like ridden this off season, none of have him going higher than the 6th round.
But it's kind of weird because it's like he's still fat.
And to be honest with you, if any running back is going in the 1st round, it's gonna be Josh Jacobs.
Even though I don't think he's the best running back in the draft. I don't.
It's debatable.
It's debatable, but I mean,
I think if any running back is going in the 1st round of this draft, it's going to be Josh Jacobs.
I do agree with you. That right now he's the highest hyped. He's the highest ranked on a lot of mock drafts and a lot of big boards. But personally, just when I watched, I like David Montgomery better. I think David Montgomery, his balance is elite. He doesn't have the breakaway speed, but then again, no running back at the top of the draft really has that breakaway speed. You talking about maybe Henderson, but he's starting to climb up draft boards. But I'm seeing him in the late 2nd, 3rd. I've seen him in the 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes late 2nd though.
I could tell you right now, one of my favorite running backs in this draft to watch, outside of Josh Jacobs. I mean, I watch Josh Jacobs every weekend for Alabama. You know? But outside of him, my favorite running back in this draft to watch is Devin Singletary at FAU. He's been one of my favorites to watch tape on, man. The kid's tough to bring down. Almost every time you got to get him down, you need more than one tackler. And that kid's balance is like, it's something special. And Joe, I even sent highlight tapes to you. I think you watched a few of them. The kid's tough to bring down. He runs hard. He doesn't have breakaway speed, but he's got enough to get away.
No, I saw a common trend of a lot of the running backs this year are like really short. Like Singletary, I think Montgomery's like 5'9".
Everybody's between about 5'8" and 5'11", and 5'11" is only like Montgomery is 5'11", Damian Harris is 5'10", Josh Jacobs I believe is 5'10".
Like I think Singletary is 5'9".
No, Singletary is actually 5'7".
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh no, Henderson, Daryl Henderson, the runner from Memphis. 5'9". Yeah. There's a couple of them I was reading on that
but I mean, I can't wait to see because I really like a lot of these running backs, and I stand by. I think about 6 of them are going in the 2nd and 3rd rounds.
I think this running back class is very deep. Not so much deep as in like elite talent, like 1st round pick worthy, but like it's just such a deep running back draft that they're going to be more than serviceable and above average. Some of them, I think about half of them, maybe like a third to a half of them are going to become elite, in my opinion. They won't happen right away, I'm not saying they're gonna come in guns blazing, but I think over time, by the time the end of their career's over, they're gonna be elite running backs. So I think this is a very deep running back draft, and you could find more than a couple gems in the mid to later rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think the one running back that I've been watching the whole time, and obviously it's gonna be because I'm gonna be biased because I am a Penn State fan. I love Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders I don't know, like it's like I'm not gonna say he's just as good as Saquon, but like they were talking pre-draft and they were talking during pre-combine, and one of the Giants reps at the combine, one of the scouts, he was saying like we would love to take you in the middle rounds and just pair you with Saquon in the NFL and just have and you'd be our 2 running backs, or you'd be our tandem.
Y'all suck for years.
Yeah, like it'd be awesome just to watch that in that backfield. Like I don't know how he would feel sitting, being back behind Saquon again for his another 4 years in the NFL. But I know he wouldn't care because they're probably really good friends, and if you get to the Giants, we start building around him and we start winning, he's not gonna care one bit. But I would love watching him play this year. I was like, man, like I thought we were gonna take a huge step back if we didn't have Saquon, but he stepped in and played really well this season.
I mean, hey man, we've had multiple 1,000-yard rushers in the same season, so
yeah, I know. I think there's another running back from Tony Pollard. He's a backup running back behind Darrell Henderson from Memphis, and I would like to take him in maybe the 6th or 7th round. I'd take a flyer on the kid because I believe he's a taller back too. I think he's like 6'2". He runs upright, but in college he played running back, he played slot receiver, and he did punt and kick return. And I think he had 7 career punt and kick returns for touchdowns. So he gives you so much value as just a weapon. A Swiss Army knife just all around the field. Now I really love that.
Yeah, I mean, in the later rounds, one guy that I really like, Trevion Williams. I think that he has a lot of talent. He's not very fast, but he runs with a lot of, anger. He's a violent runner. He's really hard to bring down. But I think he's really good, in the 5th or 6th.
Running back from Texas A&M, man, I like him too. He definitely runs hard. I think he was another one that's like 5'8", 5'9". Another one that's like really good.
Yeah. I mean, the only tall running back, the only actual tall running back is Elijah Holyfield. And his combine 40 time might have killed a lot. Not a lot of people are supposed to put too much stock into 40 time, but 4.78 is concerning.
Somebody definitely wanted to succeed just because it's coming out of University of Miami. Travis Homer, I don't know if he's going to.
I think he can ball.
But yeah, he's definitely he could definitely he just has that he could turn it on real quick.
Touching on your 40 time thing with Elijah Holyfield, I feel like he's one of those players where he may have ran a slow 40 time, but his game speed is there. He looks and plays a lot faster than what his 40 time showed, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw a couple of the games at Georgia this year. I liked him. I liked him even coming out of high school when they were talking about him at first. I thought he was gonna be like a stud. I think he came out of here too early, but
also, you got to remember, Georgia, they pump out running backs like Miami pumps out defensive backs. It's I don't know where they be recruiting their running backs from. But Georgia be having a three running back splitting carries, and all 3 of them could potentially go in the first round.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's even better though, because look like you said, you have Georgia, you had Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, and Sony Michel in the same backfield.
All in the same backfield.
All the same backfield. All 3 balling.
A first, a second, and a first, right?
2 firsts and a second.
Yeah.
I think I think
Michelle and Ty Gurley went in the first, and Chubb went early in the second.
I think
Chubb went like the first.
I think Nick Chubb might have even went in the first.
I think Chubb was I think she was the second pick of the first round. I think it was the second pick of the first round.
Who?
Chubb.
No, he wasn't picked that high. I think he. Their second pick
of the second round.
No.
Yeah, second pick of the second round.
Yeah, okay.
Second pick of the second round.
So
I think it's the second round.
That's close enough to. That's basically.
But that's almost the first round.
Yeah,
that's basically three.
Pick 33.
Yeah,
pick 33. Like, I think that's where he went. But like, you look at as I'm saying, like you have Elijah
Sony Michel went what 32 to the Patriots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's. I mean, on paper, it's a second round pick. I consider that.
Oh yeah, I'm not touching on the Gurley subject because he went 9 and the Giants picked Eric Flowers at 10. So we're not getting into that. Oh, sorry. Look, we picked Eric Flowers at 8 and Gurley went 9.
Are you really complaining? Y'all got Saquon.
Yeah, right.
So actually, you know what, Joe? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Oh, no, let's not. Let's not. Because I'm talking about the running backs that the Eagles can actually get. Because ever since LaShawn McCoy, we've been begging. Do you remember DeMarco Murray as an Eagle? He could have made my list. He could have made my fleece list.
I don't even think.
I like Jordan Howard. I love Jordan Howard, and I love the J trade. But I mean, they know LaShawn McCoy. But right now, who I think would be perfect for my team would be Darrell Henderson. Exactly.
I feel like he'd be perfect for a lot of teams. He'd be a perfect depth pad for the Jets. I
mean, he's like the perfect second.
I feel like he'd be a perfect compliment to Saquon.
He's ideally in today's NFL. He's exactly what you look for in your second running back. Tevin Coleman, Alvin Kamara. That explosive.
First of all, Alvin Kamara is the number 1 running back, and the only reason why he was number 2 is because Mark Ingram was on the Saints. Let's not get shit twisted.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying what he brings to the table as far as pass catching, explosiveness, that end of it. Mark Ingram is a beast.
Yeah.
Real quickly before we wrap it up for the night, I understand if we did do an extra pick, I would say the Giants are trading up to 33 and drafting Byron Murphy because he's still.
Hold up. What happened to no trades? You're bending the rules.
No trades.
These are your rules, Joseph, and you're bending them.
Me and Dre traded picks.
Oh man, we did.
We traded.
There was no trading spots in the pick. You literally traded what team you picked for. The Eagles didn't trade up to 24. The Eagles didn't trade up to 24. You traded the 20. You traded picking.
Giants the second round 2018 pick.
I said trades. I said no trades. You want to trade, so
that's not a trade. That's you're
trade. Look, you traded teams that were drafted.
Guys, I didn't sign up for all this drama.
I love the drama. You live for it.
Yeah, I like it.
You ain't fooling nobody.
Oh man, I'm about to leave this conversation.
Yeah, just throw like a knife between them and be like, "Yo, fight to the death."
That's fine. We can do it.
A screenshot of conversations that we had. It's gonna have nothing to do with nothing, and it's gonna be like, yo, I had pancakes for breakfast. Look at this, everybody.
Damn, that's more than I had for breakfast.
Judge him.
That's crazy.
But looking at this board, I really don't think that the Eagles are going to be picking at 25. I think they're either going to trade up or trade down. I highly doubt that they stay at 25. and make that pick.
What punter did you draft in 25 again?
Oh, I drafted Simmons,
Jeffrey Simmons.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Punter out of Oregon.
Chip Kelly days are over. It sounds like a straight up, like, you know what?
Hey,
just give us a
This
duck.
guy's gonna be the next David Akers.
Hall of Fame kicker.
Let's pick him at 15.
Oh man, he's everything Robert Aguayo was supposed to be. Robert Aguayo. Wait, is that on the fleece list? No, we need a bust.
He never got a big contract.
That's a
He
bust
just got
list.
drafted.
That's a bust list. We'll come out
Yeah,
with that.
that's different. That's different.
Oh, no.
We can't even do a bust list. There's too many.
There's way too many. We would have to develop our own 16 and do our own, and then come to each other with 4.
Longest Ryan on that list. Oh God. All right, fellas. It's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been fun. Anything else you guys want to hit on real quick before we get out of here? I gotta go to sleep. Anything you guys?
All right, old man.
Yo, I know I'm struggling, man. I got work tomorrow.
Yeah, welcome to adulthood, brother.
I got one thing to end the night. If Russell Wilson is not a Seattle Seahawk in 2019,
What are you doing?
Jack Del Rio is going to have a job. Right there, immediately somebody's going to hire him. Like, yo, he knows something that we don't know.
Jesus Christ! This guy wasn't work. You weren't even working for anybody, and you knew that. This guy's good.
Oh my gosh!
My man's got the Back to the Future.
All right.
He knows the future.
We already touched on Jack Del Rio and Russell Wilson. Does anybody have any other hot takes we haven't talked about yet?
Dirk Nowitzki dropped 20 points in his last game.
Different podcast, Joe. Different podcast. This is the Nosebleed Section. All right, we're not. This is not the NBA podcast.
Podcast coming soon, though.
Coming soon.
Podcast coming soon. Yeah.
Coming soon.
Add pressure so we get it sooner.
It'll probably be all 4 of us.
add pressure so we get it sooner.
All right, we're signing off. We're done, fellas.
Delicious.
See you on the next episode.
Thank you.